there's a gun causing a whole heck of a lot of hate and love within the firearms community, and today we're going to talk about it. Actually, this is the wrong box. Today we have a Sig Legion, all right, Sig 229 Legion, and I'm kind of offended. Somebody implied my lack of love for metal guns, and I kind of took it offensively. Now, granted, it's probably pretty accurate because you've never seen a metal frame double single action gun on this channel, but with the help of some really awesome people, we were able to get one now. So really quick, thank you to you awesome people that buy holsters, gun belts, Target Sports USA for hooking us up with the ammo. These are the kind of guns that you can expect to see in the future with the kind of support that you guys give us. All those links are down below. Check them out, and thank you guys for all that you do. So let's go ahead and talk about this thing. I am jumping out of my skin. I've actually had this thing for like almost 2 weeks now, and I've waited on the case and all that. So you guys want to see it. You don't want to hear me talk. So the Sig 229 Legion, of course the 229, 226, all these guns have been out for a long time, and they've updated them. They've added some features, and what we want to focus on today is, are these added features something that make this gun worth it? Or is it better to just go with a Extreme or a Mark 25 or something like that? So we're going to look at everything, and you guys let us know after the video down below what you think. So here is the gun. Now, like I showed you in the beginning, you're going to get a regular Sig case, okay? But when you register your firearm, they'll send you one of these thermo molded Legion cases with your challenge coin. Out of the box, you're going to get the gun. You're going to get 3 15-round magazines. So that is a plus right there. Of course, you're going to get some lubrication from Lucas Gun Oil. You're going to get some paperwork. You're going to get some stickers and things like that. All that kind of stuff is a nice touch, but that's not why we bought this thing. So we're going to take a look around the gun. Of course, we're going to do pros and cons at the end. We're going to do some shooting. We're going to talk about everything in this review, so sit back and hopefully you guys will enjoy this. So the first thing you're going to notice is this gray PVD finish. All right, this is unique to this gun, and honestly, I think it looks really, really good. There's checkering everywhere on this thing. So you have checkering on the front, the trigger guard, on the bottom of the trigger guard, on the front of the front strap here, and then of course you have checkering on these custom G10 grips with the Legion logo in them. Low profile controls, we'll talk about those here in a little bit, but you do have your low profile controls there. You do have a contoured beaver tail here, so with a regular 226 or 229, it's kind of chopped off right here. They've extended it a little bit and made it where you can get your hand really high on the gun. X-ray sights, these things are amazing. You can see you have your bright green dot right there. And then your rear is blacked out during the day, but of course they are night sights, so everything will glow at night. And then moving around to this gun, of course it's completely clean over here. And then the trigger, and we'll talk about the trigger after the shooting part of the review. It is a SRT trigger. I think Gray Guns actually did some work. It's like a Davidson's Gray Gun kind of a collaboration. It is adjustable. I'll show you that here in a second. But yeah, so a lot of cool things going on. Of course, you do have your Picatinny rail that is standard to the guns, and then you have your Legion logo up there. Front and rear slide serrations, so that's unique to this gun. Your regular 229s don't have front cocking serrations, so that's a nice little touch. So we're basically going to pick on each one of these features, and we're going to see if each one of them makes sense to go with this gun. All right, let's go ahead and talk about the specs really quick. Don't want to bore you guys with this. Overall length is 7.1 inches. Height is 5.4 inches. The barrel length is 3.9 inches. The weight is 29.6 ounces unloaded. Of course, it is an alloy and stainless steel construction. The trigger, double action is going to be 10 pounds. Single action is going to be 4.4 is what Sig promotes. We're actually going to test it with our trigger gauge here in a little bit. And the MSRP is $1,428. That's MSRP. Now for the heartbreaker. We paid $1,204 for this gun to get it to us, plus a $20 transfer. So you are not talking about chump change. It is a lot of money. So that is the biggest thing with this gun, of course, is the money. Now, these are relatively new. They're not the newest gun right now, but they still are relatively new. So, of course, the price is going to be up there. Mrs. Headshot actually chose this one over the 226. She liked the way it looked better. So I just basically let her have free reign. Hey, which one do you like better? She liked the 229, and I'm kind of glad she went with this one. Let me go ahead and show you the breakdown here really quick. Lock the slide to the rear. Don't have to pull the trigger. Of course, you can see your full-length rails there. Down in here, if you can see it, there's actually a little like Torx head down in there. That's where your adjustable trigger is, so you can adjust for the over travel, or whatever you want to do there. Non-captive stainless steel guide rod, and you can see your recoil spring there, and then your barrel. And of course you can see that this thing is pretty dirty. We have run some rounds through it. Now, like I said, Target Sports USA sent us the ammo, but I actually had to buy more ammo because before we knew it, we ran over 500 rounds through this gun, believe it or not, and that's just in 2 trips. So yeah, we put some rounds down range. So now that we got the basics out of the way, let's take this thing to the range, and we will see you guys in a minute. All right, so I'm not going to show you guys all the targets, but like I said, we put a heck of a lot of rounds to this thing. That right there was the 15-yard headshot test. I think I connected with, what, 12 out of 14. That last round is a pain to get in there. There was a 10-yard group, not the best group, but at 10 yards, that is not too bad. Threw a couple outside of the white, but not too bad at all. This one right here, what do we got? 7 yards, so pretty dang good right there. That was the shooting yesterday. Let's see, what do we have? Mrs. Headshot, 2 mags, really good shooting. There's some of my shooting right there. I mean, to pretty much sum this whole thing up, there's some quick shooting. Mrs. Headshot, fast shooting down there. More targets. Nothing impressive on that one. Mrs. Headshot again. You can see the 2 mags right there. Really, really nice shooting. God, this thing is a shooter, man. Some quick shooting. That was off of a bench just to see how good I was grouping. I forget how far that was out, but not too far. We need to really get a actual rest because I'm just going off the bench. There's some good shots right there. And very first shots with the gun. There are my shots, Mrs. Headshot. So you may do better with this gun in your hand, but one thing I can tell you is that this thing is a heck of a shooter. Let me show you where this gun actually fits. Here's a trusty Glock 19. If we put them up slide to slide, you can tell the Glock is a little bit taller. There you can see it right there. And generally the Glock is a pretty thick gun, but check out those grips on the Sig, man. That is a chunky, chunky grip. Overall, they are about the same in grip length. You can kind of see that right there. Can't really put them on their backs because I got the optic on the 19. PPQ 45, this is a full-size gun, and you can see that the PPQ is a bigger gun. So it is a full-size gun for sure. Now when you join the Legion, of course you get all of their kind of perks, and you can buy their really expensive merchandise. I was considering buying a holster for this thing, but I'll just have to see if I want to try to carry it maybe outside the waistband with a shirt over it or something like that. Let's go ahead and talk about the trigger, because this is the exciting part of this gun. Actually, there's a lot exciting on here, but we'll get to that. So double action, first shot. Like I said, it is 10 pounds. We're going to measure it here in a second. And overall, it's heavy, but it's smooth. One thing I found, I do have relatively smaller hands, but even in that double action, the short reach trigger is one where the trigger is about half the size of this one. But even though it's a regular Sig trigger, I can still reach it fine. I can still get my shots where they need to be, and I can reach that just fine, even with the size of these grips, because it is pretty chunky. Single action. Oh man, single action. Single action on this gun, you can see you hit a wall right here. Don't blink. It breaks. Don't blink again for the reset. Right there. Boom. Now that is a heck of a nice trigger, and it really lends itself well to shooting fast. I mean, it's really hard to shoot slow with this gun. Let's go ahead and measure the trigger real quick. All right, let's try to measure the trigger here really quick. 9 pounds, 14 ounces. 10 pounds, 8 ounces. 10 pounds exactly. So right in that range. Sometimes this thing can be a little bit of a pain. Let's do single action. This is where the money is, guys. 4 pounds, 1 ounce. 3 pounds, 13 ounces. It's a little bit more consistent. 3 pounds, 14 ounces. Heck of a nice single action on this gun. Let's get the box out of the way here and talk about some pros and cons. So did all of these extra features, the extra cost, translate to an amazing shooting experience? Well, let me put it like this. I can't remember the last gun that I got. As soon as I got home from the range, I took it apart, I cleaned it really well, and basically I was like a kid on Christmas. Seriously, the next day I woke up after purchasing and going to shoot this gun. I woke up and all I could do, rack the slide, drop the hammer, do it again, dry fire it. It just really is a lot of good. There's a lot of good in this gun. There's a lot of great in this gun. So let's go ahead and look at the pros and cons. Pros, this thing is an amazing shooter. Really is an amazing shooter. And a lot of these extra features really translate that. The trigger is number one. Sights, that front sight, that front green sight, indoors, outdoors, it just really draws your eye straight to that thing. And I really do love that. The frame leaf in the trigger guard, this is something that they added as well, or right underneath the trigger guard. And really with as chunky as these grips are, it really helps somebody like me with smaller hands to reach the trigger and get to the controls fairly easily. Very easy to handle. Let's go ahead and talk about bore axis real quick. Doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me. All right, there's bore axis. Easy to shoot fast. This thing is so easy to shoot fast. You're going to be seeing some of that now in single action mode, man. This thing, it handles it well, and you just want to keep going. And it's very easy to run through your ammunition. If you normally take 200 rounds to the range, you might want to think about bringing 4. Stippling feels great. It's not overly aggressive, but it just really bites into your hand just enough and really makes you have control of the pistol. Readjusting, that's something that we've worked on for quite a while now, and we've done a lot better with it, but there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of readjusting here. This little checkering underneath here benefits me more than this does up here, because when you put your hand right there, it seems like your finger it's just in the right spot. I don't know what to tell you. Cons. Now, the price, I feel, for what you get compared to a regular 229 or 226, I don't think it's that bad. But there's a lot of people out there, $1,000 on a handgun, $1,200 on a handgun. They don't want to do that. So for some people, the price may be a con. It took me a lot of justifying to buy this, but I really am glad that I did. The smaller controls, although they seem like they would be better for maybe like snagging and things like that, they didn't benefit me that much because they're harder to actuate, especially the slide stop. So I didn't see that as being a real benefit. The last round in the mag, man, getting that 15th round in there is super hard. I mean, almost impossible. We were even using the little Uplula loader, and that 15th round is a pain to get in there. And overall, it's a bigger gun, so this is just me, but you know, whenever I have it in a single action and I want to drop the hammer, I gotta camp my hand and then reposition. I definitely can't reach it from here. Sometimes I would find myself actually using my support hand and just dropping the hammer like that, but that's my issue, definitely not the gun's. Alright, so what about uses for this gun? Now, you know, obviously with a $1,200 gun, you want to have uses for it. Maybe I just don't have nice enough guns yet, but I don't believe in safe queens. So for this one, concealed carry, you know, if that's what you're comfortable with, everybody's different as far as what they're comfortable with as far as size and weight. So outside the waistband, I could see this being an option for me. I think I'd like to try it at least. But it wouldn't be my first option for concealed carry. It's just really going to depend on what you're comfortable with. Range, absolutely. This is a range beast. I mean, this thing is just such a nice shooter. There's not really a whole lot I can say about it. I mean, the proof is in the video, and that's with relatively new shooters. I mean, we've only been shooting for a little over 2 years, and this gun is a heck of a nice shooter. So absolutely, new shooters as well. Once you learn the controls and everything, it's not too difficult. Once you learn those controls, man, I feel new shooters would definitely have a good time learning the fundamentals on a platform like this, because it's easy to shoot. There's not a lot to think about whenever you're pulling this gun out and actually shooting it. So new shooters at the range, absolutely. Home defense, it's already set up pretty much. So you get a you know, a Surefire or some kind of weapon light. It already has night sights, so absolutely for home defense, this gun is going to be amazing. So, you know, quite a few different uses for this gun. It's a utilitarian type of gun. You know, it's meant to be used. It's meant to be holstered. It's meant for all that. So, definitely a useful gun, that's for sure. It's not just a pretty gun. One thing I was thinking about doing is the evolution of the Glock 19 and the P229. I think this would be a really awesome video. They seem like polar opposites, but I think we could come up with enough good points to make an interesting video of where these guns started and where they are now. These guns have been out for a long time, and the evolution of these guns is pretty cool. So if that's something that you would like to see, just let us know down in the comments. Also, I succumb to the masses. I've had so many requests to do a Glock 26. I mean, I don't even know how many. I've had quite a few. So I finally bought one. This is one of the newer colors, the Battlefield Green. I already changed the sights on it. So we're gonna do some review work with this, possibly some comparison work. I didn't really know what I could say about a Glock 26 that hasn't already been said in the hundreds of videos on this gun. But I think that we can come up with enough to make this a pretty cool video. Obviously, I already got my holster for it. So we are ready to go. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, I have no idea why you are not. There is a lot going on. We're doing a lot of cool things, man. If you want to see more from us, just hit that little red button down below. So some people like their Glocks, some people like their XDs, some people like their M&Ps, some people like their Sigs. I was accused of being a Sig fanboy after our best gun for the first shooter. Do you guys believe that? I think that we are pretty open-minded and objective with all of the guns we review. I really try to stay open-minded. But there's just something with a Sig that really attracts me to it. Now, like the 290 RS, I wasn't a huge fan of that gun. The P320 and this gun, even the 226 I've had a little bit of experience with. There's just something about this gun. When I pull it up, it points naturally for me. It seems like the sights are right there, and I'm ready to go. I just shoot this thing really well. It seems to be SIGs really well. It's just one of those things. Every feature besides the smaller controls for the decocker and the slide stop, they all make sense. So you have a little bit, you know, here with the slide serrations, the sight upgrade. Everything just seems to really make sense. It's not just an aesthetic kind of thing. Now, one thing I will say, I talked to Sig, and they said that they're registering 800 to 1,000 of these per week. One thing I want to say, harp on them a little bit, is they're so good at marketing and people love their guns so much. It seems they have a problem keeping up, though. Like with the P320 and the caliber exchange kits and the grip frames, like some of them aren't available. It just seems like they market these guns so well and then they have trouble trying to keep up with the demand. So it just kind of bothers me. It's like, man, you guys are going to make this awesome gun. Produce enough of them. I think that's actually what's held the 220 up, the 45 version of this gun, is because they're trying to get everybody caught up with the 226 and 229. So just one of those things. But with all that being said, I enjoyed myself so much shooting this gun. If you're looking at a P series in general, I think it's definitely worth the extra money to go ahead and get one of these. I think it's definitely justified. The X-ray front sight is just amazing. The trigger and the reset, this trigger is ridiculous, guys. It really is, man. They really did an amazing job on this thing, and I'm super happy with it. This one is not going anywhere out of my collection. It's definitely sticking around. Everything from dropping the mags, hearing that metal on metal contact, to dropping the hammer, pulling the trigger, firing the gun. to me, it just all feels amazing, and I'm definitely a fan of this. So is it worth it? For me, it definitely is. You guys let us know what you think down in the comments below. If you're looking at getting one of the Legions, if you have maybe one of the Mark 25s or a regular 229 or 226 or the Navy editions, let us know what you think about the Legion down below. We'll see you guys in the next one, and as always, hold them down.